Oh, and then we do have to mention Emmanuel getting a letter from his girlfriend. Like, I guess she doesn't know like what's been happening here. Like,
Yeah.
that might be cringeworthy moment of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, oh man. And then they cut to like him with all the different ladies, like cuddling and stuff. And I'm like, oh man.
But they
Okay, anyway.
do other things about it.
What up, Challenge fans? This is Final Alliance Podcast. We are recapping episode 18 of the Challenge, season 39, titled Beginning of the End. Dun dun dun. The start of TJ's final.
Yep, TJ's fun. I apologize, my friend. All we wanted to do was to be together, but you know what? There's strange things going on and work, whatever. But you know what? I'm so happy to do this with you. This was a good final to talk about. So again, wish I was there. Next week, let's do it. You and me together.
All right. I'm not mad at that. Okay. Starts with the party night. That's where we left off. TJ comes in and says, you guys all made the final.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to talk about TJ walking down the hall with a beautiful head of hair or anything like that. Just like, yeah. But, yeah,
oh, and he's like laughing.
Oh, he's the best.
He had a lot of really good laughs this episode.
Speak the week before, but he's not giving the TJ farewell. Like, he's just like, eh. But anyway, he's got that walk still, though. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. And it's always great when TJ is just in places where you don't normally see him, especially in like their like little like on property club. Of course, you know, they're all celebrating with each other, and Nurys is kind of off tour by herself because she realizes, you know, these people are not her quote unquote friends right now. And if there is an opportunity for there still be some sort of an elimination, likely she is the biggest target.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was interesting, the way that things go down later, how they went as far as picking who went into elimination. I was very impressed by the decision and the why. Heck, let's just talk about it right now. Well, no, we won't. We'll get there in a minute. I want to build up to it. They all got these letters from home. I thought that was like, I go back and forth. Like on one side, I'm like, oh, that's sweet, and on the other side, I'm like, this is like kind of cheesy.
Yeah, So you raise a good point, okay? Letters from home, that's more of a Big Brother thing.
Big Brother. I guess they do that on Survivor as well.
Okay, that's what I'm getting to more. So when you go to, which I'm sure you watched, Amanda's home turf, and they were talking about, like, you know, Amanda, she gets to see her son. They never had that before. A lot of things they never had. They never gave that to him. So the letter thing is weird that this moment, like even like you and I right now, they're looking at each other like, oh, you know, and Amanda, did you see your home turf? Amanda?
I watched about 20 minutes of it. I gotta stop trying to watch these like right around my bedtime because I'm too tired to like really focus. But I saw about 20 minutes and I liked what I saw.
I don't think you missed anything out of it. Like what? For the point I'm making, because I think they showed it before when they show her son, she's like, baby, you know, like they get to see him. So the letter thing is kind of falling on deaf ears, and no pun intended, but like, just do this thing. You can schedule a time to talk or whatever else. Like the letter, I don't know. It's just not for me. Sorry, I went too long.
Right. I think it was like, yeah, of course you would love to get a letter from your family, like just saying like, good job, you made it, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, they do get these weekly phone calls. Granted, they're not very long or whatever, but they're not cut off from the world like in Big Brother or Survivor. And then there was just parts of it that there were several people that it felt absolutely genuine. And there were other people that I feel like maybe either they were trying to or were being directed like to like have a reaction or something. Like, I don't know. It's just
no, you're not off. No,
it didn't hit for me. Like, just didn't hit. And then I mean, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I wasn't gonna dog on her, but I'm just gonna do it. All right, so you get this letter from your brother, Berta, but you're crying that you got the letter from the wrong person because she wanted the letter from her mom.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's just like more of what you said last week, where it's like she just tends to be more, I guess, negative. And granted, like, I don't know her life, I don't know her struggles. We've known like this tiny little morsel of who she is and like her life experiences. So I'm not claiming to like know her feelings, but in that scene that we saw, if we want to call it a scene, it was just kind of strange because it's like you got Jay, like, he's reading his letter, and Nerys is just smiling, super happy, and Corey is like has this really cool stuff about he's like, with his dad being his coach, and like he's like just getting all these wonderful compliments that he's like kind of always wanted from him that I thought was really beautiful. And then Berna like has to leave because, Melissa's mom wrote her a letter and she's sad that her mom didn't write her a letter. Not Melissa, I'm sorry, Colleen. But again with Corey, Corey goes over to her and is incredibly kind and supportive, and I loved that.
Yeah, but I mean, this is why, again, things change here and there, and this that sometimes we have to do these podcasts through Zoom, but it's so great when we watch it together because I would be throwing pillows at you, being like, "What is going on? Why is she talking about this?" Like, we all have things going on in life, and she's like, "Oh, I have to do this," or "They all do this," and this will be a continuing theme about. And it's not the first time I've ever brought this up, but yes, she
No.
drove about the whole thing, and I'm glad that you were kind of like picking up on it because you're usually the stopgap to the one I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore. Like, hey, she's all right. Like, I'm like, I can't listen to this anymore.
Oh, and then we do have to mention Emmanuel getting a letter from his girlfriend. He's like, I guess she doesn't know like what's been happening here. Like,
Yeah.
that might be cringeworthy moment of the night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, oh man. And then they cut to like him with all the different ladies, like cuddling and stuff. And I'm like, oh man. Okay, anyway.
Other things about him, though. Yeah. Family, what they're going to do with the money. This one is too much about what they're going to do with the money. And you know my feeling about this. Dear Lord, just win the money.
But there were a couple people that are just like, I want to win. Like, just to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So we get to the final. TJ says there's $356,000, and it's going to be a first place, a second place, a third place, which I thought this whole time that it was just going to be first place, winner take all. I didn't realize they were going to do like second place get something, third place get something. So that was like news to me. For some reason, I was just thinking like first place, that's it, period. So that was surprising to me to hear that there was a cash prize for second and third. So it's
Sarah,
250.
sorry to interrupt you, but why would you think that? Because the entire time they said there's going to be one winner only. So why?
Well, there you go.
why did you even think to question TJ or MTV Production when they said there's going to be one winner and one winner only? That's on you. Sorry.
I mean, like Cara was a solo winner, but then there was prize money for second and third place.
No, but that's what they said. They're like, there's going to be one winner because battle for a new champion, right? Did it say?
Right.
Champion.
But yeah, so with that, I was just thinking like it was going to be winner take all.
Yeah. But the math, we'll get to the math later, how obvious the math was, though. So thank you for breaking that down, though. But it was so obvious during the show.
So yeah, 36,000 for third, 70 for second, and then 250K for first. Which, how some of the seasons have gone lately, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, but it seems less compared to like when it was $1 million for like 2-3 seasons. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I guess with the way that things went, they lost money, whatever, quote unquote.
When you said they lost money, what do you mean?
Well, remember when they like lost in the first part of the competition, what did they call it? The control.
Oh, okay.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they'd lose money, or they'd win money and then
I,
they'd lose money.
yeah. I'm with you because they'll lose money later in this challenge. I'm sorry. I was thinking
Right.
like he said like we've lost money by sponsor. I'm like, no, you didn't. You've not lost it. So yeah. Sorry. I apologize for interrupting you, but yeah. No, I'm with.
I don't know if I remember TJ ever doing this before, but he like goes through all the finalists and like talks about their season. I thought
Great
that was
point. Yeah.
I liked that, but I don't remember TJ ever doing that before.
No,
They've
I
really
don't.
like involved him more this season, and I do like it.
Yeah, but I had to rewind. Like he didn't give me the again, we'll talk about this. I'll remember names, I won't remember names or whatever else. James's lady friend, Banana's lady friend, Maurice,
Mariah,
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 he did not lay into her at all. Like he laid into
no,
other people. Mariah was like number 2 up on the whole thing. It's like you stuck
mm-hmm.
to James, you had this and that, but it was never like, hey,
almost carried both of you to the final, and here you are.
I started finals. People are calling her out, being like, "Hey, I'm not going to tell Bananas," but he did not do that, and that's a weird thing.
Classy,
like,
and I appreciate.
you appreciate that TJ didn't do it,
Yeah,
but he calls out everyone else's game.
I didn't feel like he called out people's games. I think
The time he didn't
there
call
wasn't a
anyone.
whole lot to say about Mariah's game because, like, she, aside from the bananas thing, kind of stayed.
Whatever. Yeah.
You could tell that he really likes and respects Nerys, though. You could definitely tell that. I think the rest
Okay.
of it was, like cue cards or what. I mean, I think it was all like, he was reading something that they asked him to say,
Yeah.
but he definitely enjoys Nerys. So there's 3 phases. Oh, and Nerys is the only one that's been in elimination that's left, which is just so
Yeah.
crazy. Control is the first portion. They got to be together. Then chaos, which is rotating pairs, and then conquest is they compete as individuals. It's 26 miles total. I did not think that the control portion was necessary, where they had to like all work together. I get that, like, like it's kind of like mirroring what the season was, right? But like them all being tied together and then like going and finding ropes and having to accomplish this puzzle in 60 minutes to not lose money. I mean, I thought the place that they went to looked really cool, like to visit, like take pictures, explore. But like I don't know what it told me about who they are as competitors. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm with you. I don't like this portion of it because when you get to the final, he should in only one winner, like controlled, like you're not working together. You shouldn't work together. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Because like it's not, and it was so obvious to me when Corey's like, I will take the orange or whatever, the golden one, and do the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They went through everything else and Dick and then Hook. I was like, this does not work out well. And I'm watching with relatively rookies watching it, not as I'm watching with you. But I'm like,
right.
this is not like Corey. And he's like, I'm going to take it. Jay does say, like, man, are you sure I can take it? And Corey's like, no, I'm going to take it. I'm like, this is not going to work out well. It never does. It just doesn't. This is like when Paulie comes in or Big E or whatever else. And so it was easily not the best decision to make. And to your point, like, you don't need to all work together. You're in the final at this point.
Right.
And
it's one thing if it's a team or whatever, but
yeah, but good or bad, and he has to say, like, sorry guys, I lost you money, whatever else, and the money went from second, third. But they allowed it to happen. Jay goes, no, I can take it. Not Jay guy, but he's like, I can take it. He's like, no, I'm going to take over here. So it was I don't know where this whole control thing comes from at all.
I don't think Corey struggled with the ropes at all. It's just that he dropped part. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't see him looking like they were too heavy and he wasn't going to be able to handle it. It was just that he dropped a portion of it.
You
Do you know what I
thought he
mean?
could split the entire time because I did not. The
I thought he
moment
did a good
somebody
job with the
out
ropes.
of the moment somebody steps out of line who hasn't really done too much outside of the first 2-3 episodes because he was making weird decisions and says like I'm going to do this and steps in, it's not working out, Sarah. It will never work out. Like
I mean, he
he didn't.
won several dailies. He did.
What?
He won several dailies. He did.
Yeah, through like week 2, 3, or 4, and then after that, like there wasn't much. That wasn't much. He proved everything I'm saying right now that he doesn't have it.
I disagree. I think he does. I think he does.
Right now, do you think he's going to win?
Based on where everybody's at, I think he has a strong chance of making the top 3. I think he could win, but Emmanuel is just doing so well that it's going to be really hard for anyone to beat him. I really do. I believe in Corey. I really do.
I don't disbelieve in Corey. Okay, that's the thing. And I asked you, do you think he's going to win? You didn't answer that. Okay.
I don't think I would like him to win because I do really like him. I do. I find him to be a very amusing person on the show. I think he has good interviews. I think he has shown athleticism. He can eat. We saw that too. That's an added bonus as far as skills that people have. He's smart.
Yep.
But do I think he's going to win right now, having seen this episode? No, Emmanuel is way too ahead of everybody. I don't think anyone's going to beat Emmanuel at this point. I think Emmanuel is going to win, and I think next episode is going to be kind of boring because he's just going to win. That's what I think.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's it. But like the thing about like the stories or whatever else, and I don't care about their backstories. I'd rather someone just says like I'm out there for $250,000, whatever else. You follow me here?
Yes, I'm just pausing because I need the backstory. I need to care about the people. I need the like quote unquote relationship with them through the screen, like where I care about them. I know them. To whatever, they show us and root for them. If I just see a bunch of people on the screen and I know nothing about them, I might as well just be watching just regular sports.
Yeah.
This is reality TV.
The backstory or whatever else. Let's save our conversation till when we're live together next week after the final. So that's
Okay.
just the thing. I think it's a good conversation to have between the two of us. We'll be together. Yeah.
Table it then.
Yep.
So they don't get it. They lose money. Now first of all, they had to do the energy drink, which was like tuna and mayo and oil or something. That sounded gross, but I feel like it didn't seem like it was too hard for people to get down.
Nope. Be fine.
It's
definitely
but then
gross.
It went, oh, yeah, definitely gross. And then they have to run immediately after. And then I wonder temperature. Like, I don't know, like room temperature, cold, hot. I don't know what would be better, worse. But I am curious about what the temperature was, just because. I think about those like random things. So now third place is 30,000, second place is 60, and first is staying 250 because TJ doesn't want to mess with that.
Or because math is just that easy.
It's nice and they're nice round numbers, easy.
Yeah.
And then they have to do an elimination before chaos happens. So who was the person? Emmanuel? Who got to vote? Or who got to pick the first person? Oh, no, they deliberated. I'm sorry. They deliberated and came up with Corey because he dropped the rope.
Yep. Yeah. And he said,
and then everybody except for Colleen and Emmanuel voted for Corey. Corey even voted for himself. Emmanuel and Colleen voted for Nerys.
Yep.
Then what I thought was really interesting was then Corey got to pick somebody. And he picked Jay. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
And nice enough, he said, like, she's been voted in. I don't want to do this. I don't want to vote her in another time. So I'm going to pick
I
somebody
loved
else.
that. I love that he
And
said, if it's not me, I want a woman to win. Love that.
listen, I can be critical of Corey, and I will be this podcast and next one, but this made great television because we
Yes.
all. So he knew at that point. He's like, production wants me to do Jay, throwing him in, and it was awesome because I was on
good.
like two people
Well,
I
and
don't
Reese
care
would have been
about.
the easy pick.
Yeah, two people I don't care about. I was on the edge of my seat, like I can't believe this. This is awesome. So good
Oh,
for
yeah.
him.
And he was incredible in this elimination. So it was like they got to run to get puzzle pieces. They got to climb up something to get the puzzle pieces. They got to dig and stand to get puzzle pieces. And then they have to balance these. They're like blocks. They remind me of like blocks that like a kid would play with. But you have to like balance them on this teeter totter thing with your foot. And then it's got to stay for how many ever seconds while you say check.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter the color, the order of the colors or how you face them, just as long as they're all standing up for how many ever seconds, which I think, you add in adrenaline and nerves, and I think that does make that much more challenging. But I gotta say, just like they said, Corey was explosive. He was so much faster, and Nerys was like, I feel like we're now finally seeing like him at his highest level. Like, he really wants this. He does not want to go home. And
Sure.
yeah, I mean, that's the time to perform. Heck yeah. So then Jay goes home, and it was just like, after this whole game, and he's been, painted the villain, made himself the villain, whatever way you want to put it. They're both true, I feel like. And he's that close, and the rug gets yanked out from under him. Take care.
What do you say? Made the villain or hate the villain? Like he was fine making the villain be like
He was
did
either
all stuff.
made a villain, like he made himself a villain, or painted as a villain. But I
Yeah,
think
but
they're both true.
he's like I when again we'll talk about the new challenge fan in the house watching things. I'm like, do you remember the show where you had to get the skulls? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, it's people like him that avoided being in there. That's why CT got the skull. That's why the episode they tried to keep CT from not getting the skull. They had to do this. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like she's learning slowly through like the history of the challenge. But he's like, Jay walks away and he goes, I played a perfect game, but I got in there and it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
What?
They're, of course, we're going to respect people more if they had to fight for it, right? But it's not, I mean, I would not argue that I would not say it was a bad game to keep yourself safe out of elimination. That's a pretty darn good political game, keeping yourself out of elimination.
Yeah, I would say that, but I would agree with that, but not when you get to that point with TJ's final and be like, well, I did this much and I was doing it. And then somehow I got in the final. Like he didn't really like own it. Like, well, TJ's final did whatever else. He's like, I played the perfect game and this is what my plan was. And I'm at, you, if you can't see his bullshit, I mean, yeah, you can, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't necessarily care for him from midway through the show on that
Yeah.
I used to. I thought he got a little big for his britches within the alliance, and he felt extremely safe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I no, I completely agree with that. Yeah. And then he didn't think like after that, no, he didn't think anyone would vote him out like that, like randomly, like Corey was like, hey, I'm gonna bring him in. So I thought he went out with good graces, like yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, and he did say, he said when Corey was called, he's like, I think he's gonna pick me, of course,
Yeah. And he said to what? Reese or whatever, he's like, hey, you got to go do it. Yeah.
I liked that a lot. So it's like after everything, even though he like they went through it and there were some issues, he still was like cheering her on at the end. So chaos starts, it's rotating pairs, individual time is kept, and TJ makes sure to tell us that the winner of this is gonna get power. So we got to remember that. First teams are Mariah and Berna, Manuel and Colleen, and then Corey and Nurys. Berna, of course, she's got a hurt groin, so she can't really run right now. She was already struggling, I think, with the first portion that she was like tired. I've never had a hurt groin. I've had hurt hamstrings before, and I mean that hurts. That's hard to run. It's uncomfortable. Um, so I can't speak to her injury, but I know if I were Mariah, I'd be really frustrated being her partner or anybody with when the portion has to do with running.
Yeah, but can we just skip through this whole thing and figure out who we really think is going to win or be at the final of this? That like Berna, do we really think? We never thought, and we talked about this last week. We never thought she was going to be like someone that's going to be there at the end of the challenge.
Well, first, okay, so this first portion, Manuel and Colleen win.
We thought Manuel would be. I told you that.
And then Corey and Nurys are second, and Berna and Mariah are third. This was with the rope, and then they gotta untangle it, and then push like the little hamster wheel. Okay.
No, I understand that. The thing is that like, did we really think Berna was going to be at the final of this, like the top three? That's what I'm talking about. If we're
no.
Do we really think that Colleen or Moline is going to be in there?
Oh yeah, Moline. Yeah. Wasn't that funny because it made me think of Moline, Illinois?
We think Corey, right? We think he might be. I don't think he's going to be. Go on. Who's going to be in that top three? What?
I could see Nurys.
Yep.
Mariah, I don't know. She's always been really strong, but like I oddly haven't seen like enough of her to like fully know if I think that she's gonna win or could win. Do you know what I mean?
Who?
Mariah.
Yeah, but you're putting her in the top three.
No, right? I said a question mark maybe. I would say of who's left right now, Corey, Emmanuel, Nurys. Maybe not in that order, but those three.
All right. I don't have Corey in there in the top three, but that's fine. Okay. That's fine. Corey, Emmanuel, Nurys, Mariah. Listen, again, can we also talk about Mariah? You do not have to alter your outfit to do things. Can we just be athletic? You don't have to alter it.
How she always has her like, you know, I can't help but like stare at her like perfectly toned abs every time though. I'm like, dang girl, I'm like, she's just standing there and that's what they look like.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, but you don't need to do it. Okay. All right. Now, what do we really think the final three are going to be?
Corey, Nurys, Manuel. A couple of things I do want to talk about though. Sure. Like as far as like going through this. I know we're on a time crunch because we got to watch Caitlin Clark break the record. No. Corey and Colleen are partners for the next check, Nurys and Mariah, and then Berna and Manuel. I was thinking, okay, I was at this point thinking whoever's with Berna is probably going to get last. But it's kayaking. She can use her arms. Manuel's her partner. They're obviously very close. They get first. So it was a kayak, and then it was like a puzzle. Surprisingly, Nurys and Mariah timed out, which surprised me because Nurys killed those puzzles in those eliminations. So that shocked the heck out of me. And it was like a similar puzzle where it's like you're making, I think it was like a rabbit situation, kind of like how they had to make like the goose puzzle. There was a GIF-worthy moment. Do you say GIF or GIF? That's always a debate.
That's a great question. We're going to waste way too much time on this. I say GIF. but I immediately look to my right or left to be like, is it a GIF? I don't know.
I
Say
think
GIF.
it's actually GIF, but I've been saying GIF for so long that it's like I don't know. But anyway, so when he wins that one, he does like 3 dabs really quick. And I'm like, that
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like a GIF worthy moment. Like if somebody's probably already made it a GIF.
it was terrible when he did that. Yeah.
Oh, but I thought it was terrible, but I was like, that's a GIF. Like I could be like, you know, Friday got me like, it
Love it.
works.
Yeah.
Check 3 is the trivia with the rope thing. Nerys, of course, is with Mariah, and that's or not Mariah, Colleen, and that's the one where Colleen struggled in the mini final. Remember with the
Oh, yeah.
ropes?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Funny moment with Mariah and Emmanuel. I don't know if you heard it. They're sawing the rope or whatever, and it like comes at her, and she goes, "Ow, that thing vagina whapped me."
Yeah. Yeah.
He thought that was the funniest phrase. Not heard that one before. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she's like, "No, it's both of us. It's fine." Uh, those two I felt were obviously going to win. They were both really, really strong. This portion of it was about strength.
Yeah.
Berna led Corey to the wrong answer about football, aka soccer. She picked
Brazil. Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, the questions were the same. It was like, that one was the same. The Serena Venus Williams, that one was the same. And then there was the question about, what band One Hit Wonder sang Barbie Girl. Nerys
Yeah.
knew that out right
Aqua.
away. Mm-hmm. Love that any portion of trivia that's on the challenge. But yeah, with the question getting wrong, then Corey and Berna had a long ways to go. And then Nerys and Colleen timed out. So then that's twice that Nerys had timed out. So then I'm like, oh no, like this could be a problem for her. And I do think, this portion of it, I think Colleen says it, like it just kind of really is, do you have the right partner at the right time? Or do you have the wrong partner at the wrong time? Check 4 is the eating challenge. We're getting towards the end. All kinds of disgusting food. I found that Colleen was being, I thought, really supportive to Berna, and Berna was like, basically told her, like, back off. She's like, I can't do this with you here pressuring me.
Yeah. No, Berna's the worst. I'm sorry. But anyway, I said it last week. I'm like, she's not fit to run a challenge. But, well, here we go. Anyway, sorry.
Corey and Mariah get it done pretty easily. And then I love that, like, Corey's puking, and they tell him to puke quieter.
Yeah.
And TJ's like dying laughing, and they just like zoom in on him, and he's like into the water, and he's like what do you want me to do? dying. All right, check 5. I'm noticing, I always pay attention to like time of day and stuff. I'm noticing like the sun setting, like we're like golden hour time. I'm like, this has got to be it for the day, probably, unless they go into or they will probably likely go into an overnight portion, right? Or they'll just be done for the night where, they sleep somewhere or whatever. They got to chug the energy drink again. And then they unwind balls from around a pole. And then they do some sort of it's like a carnival game, getting them into a basket. Berta and Nerys get it first. I cannot believe that they got it first. I'm so proud of Nerys. So she stands a chance here at this point. And her working with Berta was even funnier because it was like, what, they got it? Mariah and Colleen time out. Corey and Emmanuel get second. Manuel is safe because I think at this point he's got the best time. And he gets to pick one person for elimination. And that's where the episode ends. But I don't know. I'm assuming they're doing some sort of trickery with us in the preview, but I see all 6 people in the preview.
Yeah, I paid attention to that. I'm with you. Yeah.
So they could be like trying to just play games with us, but Or is it there's a chance that they're against and they win?
Yeah.
And I
I
think there is a high likelihood, like I would say like 90% chance that Emmanuel is going to vote Nerys. Or is he thinking
yeah.
strategically? Or
No,
if
it's
he was
Nerys.
smart, hang on, I'm losing my earpod. All right.
It's fine.
Or if he was thinking strategically, he would think about, okay, who's been neck and neck with him this whole time? That's the one you want to get out because it's all about your time.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Nerys, though. I don't see her. I watched the exact same thing. I paid attention to the preview. I don't think it's Nerys, but I think she's the best competitor left. I'd love to see her win.
Most
So, do you want
likable.
to talk about that? Break down the episode and who won what, and vice
All
versa,
right.
and go through other things?
There are two ways I could go with who won the episode.
Yeah.
I could say Emmanuel because he's in the lead right now and he ends up with all the power. That would be an easy, just direct slight. Okay.
Fair. Yeah.
You're going to disagree with me, but I think Corey, even though he sucked it up in the beginning with the rope situation, but then he had a bold move on the elimination and he won the elimination. And then he had some amusing commentary and stuff along the way. I found him to be the most entertaining this episode. And this is a television show. So that's my reasoning.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you?
I always think Nerys is very, very good. I mean, she comes back,
Yes.
she does whatever. Like you said, Emmanuel. I don't care for Emmanuel very much, to be honest with you. I'm over I'm doing this for this. Like, I appreciate whatever else. I can also tell you about like Corey, and here's the thing about Corey right now, and how it started, where it began with this episode. Excuse me. I don't want to take anything away from Corey as he is as a black man or anything else, but he does throw out his one-on-ones or whatever else, say like, I want to win this as a gay black man or whatever else. He's done such a great job. He's so good. It's almost a kind of weird thing in like society that I feel like we're not like pointing out anymore. Like there's a woman president or woman vice president, or there's not gay this and that. Like he doesn't need to point out. He's that good. He's that good of a competitor. He doesn't need to worry about like, I need to do this. And especially in what we consider the fifth greatest sport in the world. In the sports world, we don't look at that anymore. Are you with me?
I'm with you, but I'm thinking.
Okay. But in the sport world, because what we're talking about, we are the challenge is the fifth major sport. I don't think in any other sport we worry about. And he started off this episode like, I need to win because of this with this. When I questioned him, and during our podcast, I'm like, no, I didn't think he was going to do it. It was him as a competitor. It was never him as a gay black man. I think it's great. Everything he's done, we knew what he was. But I think that the average viewer doesn't look at it that way. It is like, oh no, he needs to win because he is gay and black. The backstories are going to be the backstories. I'm tired of them. I'm tired. Like I came from a family this, I came from that. They're coming for $250,000. And Sarah, you can back me up on this. I've been saying this for how many episodes we've been doing this. They're coming for money. The backstory is always nice, but it's always about money. Just be honest. It's about the money.
I think it is about the money. I think it's about the opportunity. I don't think that we get to say how he feels in regards to why he wants to do it. I don't think that I think that like where we're at as a society now is, like we were raised like, I don't see color, da da da, we're all the same. But what we've realized, and I think that's what's been so great, is it's important to acknowledge and embrace those differences. And with that being said, obviously this is who he is as a person. He is a gay black man uh, within athletics, and he has done athletics his whole life. um, I imagine that was probably difficult for him in certain sports environments to be a gay black man. um, I don't have that experience, but I'm going to acknowledge that he had that experience, absolutely. And for him to say, I am so proud to be here as a gay black man and I would love to win this. I don't think that there has been a gay black man that has won the challenge. I think that's great.
I agree with that, but I also think it's great that I think in the challenge community, we don't even look at that anymore. Like,
What's been wonderful about MTV this whole time is the representation has always been incredible, leaps and bounds above other networks, I feel, and really society. Like, we were raised on MTV and all these people from such different backgrounds being in a house and on the Real World Road Rules, and then those people then coming onto the challenge. So as far as the representation and stuff, yeah, us as challenge viewers, we're used to that.
Exactly what you're saying. We've been raised on being inclusive. And so, like, the thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've been raised. I mean, look at, what is it? It's Real World, San Francisco or LA. Like, nothing wrong with being a lesbian, Beth. Like, and that was 1993, 94. Where are we at right now? 2024. We are so much further along at things. Like, I get where he's saying, like, I want to be this person wins it, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. But dear Lord, people like you, me, and historians, we've learned to be like, what history is, and there's so much going on political or whatever else. We've learned to be more tolerant of individuals, and it sounds terrible because, like, there's not a lot of people like social media that's intolerant, but we are. So when Corey says that, I'm like, I don't really feel this is a big deal because, dude, if I saw you tomorrow, I'd shake your hand and be like, "You're great." I would never say, like,
"Oh yeah,
you're
we're huge fans."
Like,
right.
In 40 years ago, there might have been a different world here in Bettendorf, Iowa. I don't know. I don't know if that makes any sense, and I don't know if I'm changing anything but I don't know. Like, but I don't know what it's like to live in different cities. So,
right. I think anybody who has an opportunity to be a role model and maybe inspire somebody, maybe somebody that has similar life challenge, whatever, that's wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree with you. Yeah, we're paddling in the same boat about that. Yeah, of course.
You just want everybody to be like, look, I just want to win the money because I love money.
I think overall,
that's basically your point. You just want people to be like, I just am here for the money.
Okay, when TJ broke everything down, so in my own defense, did TJ break everything down like, hey, Corey, you might be the first ever gay black guy to win a challenge? Did he not? He didn't do it, right?
Well, he watched the show. He's been watching the show for years.
Did
he
he say that or not, Sarah?
No.
So the thing is, really, so it goes back to, if I'm like, oh, it's about money, whatever else. When TJ was breaking everything down, he didn't break down Corey's game and be like, oh, and look at you, you might do that. So I'm not off here, right?
I mean, I suppose, yeah, it's not like the sporting news is like sitting there telling him right there. But I mean, whatever. We're just talking in circles.
So you're so mad that I'm not sitting next to you, so you can just punch me in the arm and do like,
I know, I smack ya. Stop it. Anyway, I think you won the episode.
Yeah.
Lost the episode. Who do you think? I mean, Berna would be the obvious, right?
I'm done with it. I've been done with her.
It's
Like,
hard to watch. She's just hard to watch.
I would love for like you to watch the episode with the new Emery, who's new to it, and Chelsea watched it too. And like I get on the seat, I get on the couch. I'm like, this is it. This is it. She's the one out of this episode. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, when I talk to Wyckoff, this is it. She is done. She is out of this. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, you guys don't watch our podcast. So I'm done with you guys.
Like, this is the moment when Sarah says, I'm out.
Yeah.
It does. It takes me a while. It really does for most people.
Yeah.
The cringeworthy moments. I feel like we talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, probably something with Berna.
Berna, I just don't like Berna. She's not a good competitor. Like in general, like she's not in it.
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone thinks she is. Like, I just don't get it. Like they kept her around. She was never good. Like never, ever good. But okay.
Right. I mean, she won that one challenge, like that one daily, but.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, you could keep some. There were nicer people that would have been more fun to be around, probably. That they also could have beaten the final. That might have been more entertaining television.
Yeah.
I don't know. I digress. Okay. I feel like that's about it. So, all right. If you had to say it right now, who is winning?
Emmanuel.
Yeah, I don't think that it's gonna. I don't necessarily want him to win. I haven't really been rooting for him.
But yes.
But I feel like he's too far ahead at this point. I don't think. Yeah,
And
I don't think
I
that.
I don't like that. I'm telling you, your heart is so much better than mine, but I don't like the whole story. Like, I'm gonna send money to my mother, and I'm gonna do this and that, and I'm not doing a bad accent. I don't care. And then he's going to be part of another challenge and be like, well, he won this one, and of course there'll be a bananas to be like, or anyone else to point out like, yeah, it was a challenge of no champions, battle for a new champion. You didn't beat anyone, and he's not going to come. You and I know
So on that,
he's not going to come back foul to anyone else. They're going to go like, you didn't win against champions. He's going to go, okay, I didn't, and he'll go to bed. It's not like he's going to come out like foul and like ad lib and be like, but I beat this, and I don't care. I'll beat all of you. At least Fessy, of all people, like called out CT. Emmanuel doesn't have it. I'm sorry.
Right. So on that, like
it's a boring season, unless.
Well, first, you're talking about like how bananas or someone would be like, oh, cool, you won a season where like nobody won, like there was no winners.
Yeah.
That made me think of Bull Durham when she mentions to him that he's like close to getting the home run record in the minors. And he uses a phrase that I have since like used all the time because I just love it so much. And he says that it would be a dubious honor to have a minor league home run record.
Yeah.
A dubious honor. Which I don't know if I believe that in regards to this, but it is kind of funny.
Because you brought it up. Great reference.
It was a little funny. Hey,
it's
thanks. It's like my all-time favorite movie.
You're trying to be nice here. Yeah, you great reference.
But here's the thing, though. Okay, so if it were Horacio that won, I'd be like, you did it. Would not call it dubious. You know what I mean? It's about like how you care about the character, the people. Do not dislike him. He's obviously doing a really good job in this final. I do not see him losing. I would like to see Nurys or Corey or even Mariah win, but I don't know. Maybe something crazy will happen. I think that's highly unlikely.
I want Nurys. I'm pulling for her hard.
Gosh, yes. She's the best.
Yeah, I really am pulling hard. Harder than I've hold since bananas or whatever else, like CT. Like I'm
Wow.
pulling for her. Yeah. Like I want her, and I want her to come back. I want her to do other things. I want her to be
She's
vocal.
fantastic.
Yeah.
She's the whole package for sure.
Yeah.
I don't really. I have a couple things, T, but I'm just gonna skip them because we can cover them next week. Do you have anything else for me?
Now, did you watch Home Turf?
Like I said, I did like a little bit of it, and then I was too sleepy. Yeah. But I really, the things I saw, I liked. I like Amanda, and what I saw, I thought was really interesting about, like, how she works at the correctionals facility, and she talks about like the crazy stuff that she experiences as a nurse there. I was like fingers cut off and stuff.
I wish they would have gone a little bit more into that, just does her drive or whatever else. Yeah, but they went through that. And again, there's also little things like, yeah, good or bad. But no, interesting. Yeah, everything is fine. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I know at all.
No, I think, yeah, that should be it for the night, and we'll finish up. See who our new champion is next week.
All right. I'll be there.
Manuel.
I'm sorry I can't be there, but I know it's finals. I miss you though.
I miss you too. It's all good. Give your new challenge fan in Chelsea my love. Find out who they're rooting for as well. And I think that'll be it for tonight. So follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube. We're a Final Alliance podcast. Please comment, subscribe. We love to hear what you have to say. And on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we're Final Alliance Podcast.